Hello. Hello. Audible? Everyone. Delay. So let's get started. I'm Monica. Yes. So in our last session, we have seen about the different types of SQL commands and what are the different arithmetic and logical operators. So in today's session, we will be going through single row function. So first, let me give a start into Technocraft Academy located at Belgavi. We provide different trainings on the computer applications, English communication skills, CAD, CAM, and design technology, data analytics, stack development. Also, provide placements, uh, includes resume building, interview preparation, soft skill development, have a direct connection with different corporate and HR recruit, help you or assist you adding the guys. We are available platforms. Facebook. Also have a WhatsApp line. Get the or the job opening. Let's get started with the today's topic. Single row function are the functions that are work only on the single and also provide us out each row single output. Have a different types of like a function, date function, tick function. Okay, so first let's go through the general functions. So general functions usually they are used to handle the null. They're used to handle the null functions. So we have a different types of functions like NVL, NVL2, null if, collage, case, and decode. So let's go one by one. So first one is an NVL. So NVL function is used like whenever we have a null in any of the tables or a columns. So we can use these NVL functions to handle these null values. So we can just replace the all the null values with whatever the value we want. Then we can get the output. So let's try out these functions using our Oracle SQL. So I'm going to the Oracle SQL Apex where we can run different commands. Okay, so in our last session we have already loaded employees table and also cross checked some of the commands as well, SQL commands. So today we'll check the single row functions. So I'm getting started with I'll first my basic command. I'm going to run select star from employee table. Okay, so we have all these data: employee ID, first name, last name, email, join date, job ID, salary, and all. So now we are going to run the NVL, like we are going to test the NVL a single row function, so which is used to handle the null values. So we can see in commission PCT, like we have a lot of null values. So in our even in our real world, we come across such situations where we'll be having a lot of null values, but we don't need to do any calculations or replace all these null values. Then we can use this NVL function. Okay, so in case of all the null values, I'm just going to replace it with, I can replace it with any static value, or you can replace it with any other different column available in the table as well. So I'm first trying to check with using a static value. So I'll write, I don't need all these columns. So let's take only the, let me take employee ID. And since I'm going to replace the commission PCT, so I would like to take commission PCT to just to compare what value I'm going to get after using NVL function. So it's commission PCT. Then I'm going to replace now all the NVL, all the commission PCT using NVL function. So let me replace it with a static value. I can take anything. Let me take 500. So this is from employee table. So employee. Okay, let's try this. Okay, now you can see all the null values are replaced with a static value called 500. But there were some of the values that were existing. Yeah, you can see the employee ID 1046. So he already had a 0.4% commission PCT. So it is same, it is retained. Whatever the earlier value was there, it is retained, but only the null values are replaced. Okay. So now you don't want to replace it with a 500. So you want to just add something, or if I say I want to add like a salary, I would like to take salary and add something. Let me add 1000. Okay, now let's run and see. Yeah, you can see. Sorry, I missed to take salary here. Let me take salary just to compare if I'm getting a proper result. Okay, so we can see we have a salary 24,000. So after using NVL function on commission PCT, all the null values are replaced with salary plus 1000. So which is, for the first employee ID, it is 24,000 plus 1000, 25,000. So it's 25,000. Okay, so we have seen one of the. So now we have gone through the NVL function. So now we have another similar kind of null handling function called NVL2. So let's test that as well. So what happens in NVL? We are going to replace all these values with the salary plus 1000 I'm doing. But there are some of the rows which have already the commission PCT. So you can see here 0.4. So 0.4 is coming as a 0.4 only. So that is not replaced. It is as it is. But in some cases, the requirement will be like they want to replace everything. So they don't want to have 0.4 here. So in place of 0.4, they may need any different value. So null values should be replaced with some other value, and whatever the existing value is there, so they want to replace them as well. So in that case, we can use a function called NVL2. Okay, so I'm going to check this NVL2. Let me copy from this above statement. It's a similar kind. It's NVL2. So now you're going to replace all the commission PCTs here. So commission PCTs, we are going to replace it with a salary plus 1000. But so if you want to have all the like whichever the commission PCT value is already existing, but you want to replace it, so I'm providing it as salary. So let me take this as, okay, I'll take this as salary plus commission PCT. Okay, now let's try running this. Okay, now you can observe. So all the null values, whatever existing null values were there, so they are replaced with salary. So in the commission PCT column, we are replacing all the null values with the salary, and wherever there is already a commission PCT value existing, that we are going to replace it with salary plus commission PCT. So you can observe in this, for this employee ID 1050, from here onwards, like it's 10500.2. So it is a commission PCT plus salary. Okay, I hope these two functions are clear here. So in NVL, we are just going to replace all the null values with the specified value, and in NVL2 we are going to replace all the null values with the specified value, and also whatever the existing value are there, you can replace it or you can modify the existing value as well. Okay, so this is about NVL and NVL2 functions. So next we have one more single row function called null if. But before that, I would like to tell one more thing. So we have a one pseudo table in SQL called dual. Okay, so dual is just a single row and a single column holding table called dual. So this is used when you want to do some arithmetic function. So you do like the data does not exist or it is not stored in the DB. It's just whenever you are running a query, it is used. For example, so if I want to do some arithmetic calculations, like I want to just know what is, for example, I would like to know what is 45 into 56. So that time it's, you can use a dual table. So now I want to know what is 45 into 56. So it's a 2520. So this is like a, this data is not, it is not stored anywhere, but you want to do some calculation, so it is used. If you just run select 45 star into 56, then you'll get an error message saying from keyword is missing. So we cannot just run a select query without from table. So I'm using here, this is in case of Oracle Apex, I'm saying. Okay guys, so this is not applied anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to do 45 into 56 from dual, then I'll get a result. Okay, so this is about a dual table which does not stored in the DB, or it is not physical existing. It's just a pseudo table, we can say, a dummy table. Okay, so next we have a next single row function called null if. This also comes under general functions. So null if, it is a function that returns null values if both the arguments are same, and if both arguments are not same, then it returns the first, whatever the first of field we provided, so it returns that value. So now let me do one thing. I'm going to then select null if. So let's take any two integer values. Let me take 100 comma 100 from dual table. Okay, now see, both 100 and 100 are equal, so I should get an value as a null. So you can see we are getting the result as a null. If both the arguments are same, then only we'll get a null. If if both the arguments are not same, then it will return the first argument as a result. So in this case, we should get 100. Yeah. So we are getting 100. So this does not only works on these dual table, or let's check for some of the example in the um, employee table as well. So I'm going to run select null if, even though we don't have any columns in common, um, let me compare it with a salary comma salary, even though it is the same column. So I'm hoping we should get a null here. Let's try it. Yeah, so we are getting all null values since we are comparing it with the same column. So we are getting everything as a null here. But instead of comparing it with a salary, if I compare it with the commission PCT, so I should get a result as a salary here. Okay, let me try this. Yes, so this is coming as everything as a salary column, since there are no single value which are common in both of the columns. So we are getting, so even you can rename this, like you can provide always alias name as, so I'm just going to provide um as a updated salary. Anything, you can provide anything that is suitable. So in this case it is not that perfect, but I'm just um, giving an alias name as updated salary. Okay, so I hope this null function is clear. So let's check what was our next function. Okay, so we have covered NVL2 null if. So next general function is collage. So let's check into this. So collage is usually used, so it returns us as the first non-null value from whatever the values are passed, the arguments we pass. So it returns us the first not none value. Okay, and we also have a case and decode. So let's check all these functions. So case is it is one of the most used function everywhere we come across case functions. And also decode, so decode is like replacing or renaming specified column values. And case is like if you want to provide some conditions, based upon that getting results. Like for example, if you say uh, if age is greater than 12 and less than 20, then call it as a teenage. So then we can use a case statements in such conditions. Okay, so let's check all these three functions in our SQL editor. Okay, I'm going to check first the collage one. So it returns first not null value or a non-null value. So I'm going to take a commission PCT, since we had so many null values in the commission PCT. Okay. Okay, it says uh, not enough arguments were passed here. So that means we are missing some of the function, like it when it accepts more than one or two arguments, we get such error. Let me try now. Okay. So you can see it is replacing all the null values with the one. Okay, our next function is a decode. So decode is used when you want to replace anything in the specified column. So for example, let's check this one. So let's start from employee. So here, so if you want to change somebody's name, uh, for example, I don't want here a Steven, so I want to update the first name as from Steven to Steve. Then I can use a decode function. Uh, sorry guys, the screen was not shared properly. I hope now it is visible. Are you able to see my um, Oracle SQL command? SQL workshop. Okay. So I was saying like we'll check for the decode function. So now I was saying we will replace all the first name which is Steven as a Steve. So for that we can use a decode function. Let's try writing a query here. Select. So I want to replace all the first names whose name is Steven. I want to replace them with a Steve. So this is used whenever you want to change any one of the field which might be some due to some technical issues or something, the data might not be proper. So in that case you can use the decode just to change one of a particular value from a millions of records column. Okay, so I'm going to decode it. So let me decode our first name column. So I'm writing a first name. So I'm going to decode a name called Steven. So I want to decode his name as just Steve. Okay. And whatever the rest of the values are there, so I want them as the same. So I'm writing as a first name. So it's like whatever the rest of the values are there, they'll remain it as a same as a first name. So it is from employee table. Okay, you can observe now the Steven first name has changed to Steve now, and rest of the names are as it is. So I hope this decode function is clear here. We are just going to decode any one of the value and um, provide a new value for that. Okay, so now we have another single row function, or called a case statement. Okay, so select start from employees. Now I want to um, make some group based upon the salary. So if I want to say like all the employees whose salary is greater than 20k, so they belong to some like a class 1, and whose salary is less than 20k, I'm going to group them under class 2. So for that we can use a case statement. So let's see how we can write a query for the case statement. It's a select. So first I want to see who's like an employee name, so I'm going to take first name, then take a salary. Since we are going to compare the salary, so just to know whether it is coming in a right path or no, I'm going to take salary, and then here we'll provide a case statement. So case when salary is greater than or equal to 20,000, then we are going to call it as a class 1. Okay, and next we might provide one more condition. I'm going to call it as when salary is less than 20,000, then class 2. So we are going to end it as a class, or I can say classes from employee table. So let's see how this case statement works here. So you can see the results. So Steven is having a salary 24k, so he is coming under class 1. So Naina, Alex and all, so these are having a salary which is less than 20,000, so we are getting a class 2 as a result here. Okay, so if I want to see which all people are having a, like if I want to get the count of this, then you can use a count function to know who all are coming under a salary greater than 20,000 or less than 20,000. Okay, so if you want to apply where conditions here, for example, where I don't want all the records, so if I just want a top 4 results or top 3 results, then I can use row number which is less than or equal to 5. Okay, it says missing Windows specification for the functions. We can check this row number window function in our next class. So now first let's complete our single row functions. So I'll cover this row number in our next class. Okay, so these all are the general functions. Now let's see what are the case conversion functions. Okay, so under case conversion functions we have um, upper, lower, and int cap. So upper function is used to convert the string into uppercase, and lower is used for converting into the string values into the lower case, and int cap function converts only the initial alphabets of a string into uppercase and the rest of them as a lowercase. So let's check all these case conversion functions. Oh, so if you observe, we have a first name like a Steven, which is like a first letter is caps, rest of them all are lowercase, and in the email we have all the letters as a caps letters, or even the job ID is having all the caps letter. So I'm just going to use these columns to check our character functions here. So in order to let me change the first name to the upper cases. So I'm using upper function here, upper of first name. So this will be our first name only. Let me rename it as just a name. Then we have a job ID, which are where everything is uppercase, but I want to change them to the lowercase. So I'm going to take it as a lower of job ID, and then we have a int cap. So only the initial letter will be changed here. I'll take a email column. So I'm considering email just for our checking of the function. So we can see the first name, which was like we had only the first letter as caps and rest of them were in lowercase, but now everything is converted to uppercase, and job ID is converted to lowercase, and email also you can check the first letter is uppercase and rest of them are in a lowercase. So this is used when you want to compare any of the value, but some of, for example, if you are comparing one of the column, but few of the records may be in caps letters and few of them might be in a lower cases. So in that case you can use these case conversions. So you can convert everything into uppercase and then you can compare it with your another column. So that time it helps us to get the correct results. Okay, so this is about the case conversion functions. So now let's see what our next a function, character functions. Okay, so character function, it accepts it might accept a single input as a character or a string value, and then return us the value might be a number or a character. So we have a different character functions like a concatenation. So the keyword used here is a concat. So concat is used to concat any two string values. Then we have a length function. So it returns the length of the input string that we provide. Then we have a substring. So substring function returns a string from whichever position you have provided, from the starting position to the end position. So it provides a substring. And then we have a end string. So it provides the numerical position of that character that from a string that you have specified. Then we have a lpad and rpad functions. So these are used to, so if you want to add any string values or the character values to existing string, then you can use a lpad and rpad. So lpad is used to append some of the characters at the left hand side, and rpad is used to add or append any characters at the right hand side of the string. Then we have a trim function, so which is used like you can trim the part of the string either from the start or end. Then we have a replace function. So replace function, it is used to replace any input value from the existing string. Okay, so let's check one by one. I'm going to the Oracle Apex. So first one was the concatenation function. So if you want to concat any two string values or any two columns, then you can use a concat. So in our case, I'm going to concat the first name and last name to get the full name. So here I'm going to write select. So I need to know what is, if it is coming correct or not after concatenation. So first name from a last name. So now I'm going to concatenate it. So it's a concat. Again, it's a first name and last name. Employee table. So you can give alias name as a full name here. So we can see it is concatenated. The first name and the last name are concatenated, and we are getting Stephen King. But we need some space in between these two. So what we can do is we can just give some space here. Okay, so you can see it is giving us invalid number of arguments because concatenate function accepts only two arguments, but you want to provide three arguments. So in that case, you can use a parallel lines to concatenate any two string values here. So I'm going to concat first name and the last name. Along with it, I need to provide some space in between. So it's a first name, then use two parallel lines, and then give here some space. Again the parallel lines, and now it's last name from employees or employee table. now you can see we are getting a space. So concat function uses only, we can provide only two arguments, but if you want to combine multiple columns or multiple string values, then you can use the parallel lines. Okay. So next we have a character function called length. So if you want to check the length of the first name, so if you want to know what is the how many characters are there in the first name, then you can use length. Length of a first name. Okay, it was a Steven, so we are getting it as a 6. So next name was a Naina, so it was a 5 letters. So we are getting all the length of the first name columns, like we have 6, 5, 3. The third one was Lex, so it was 3. Okay, so this is about a length character function. So next we have a substring, so which is used to, if you want to get only a specified number of string values from the column, then you can use a substring. So if I want to get only the first three letters from the first name instead of entire name, then I can use a substring. So first name, sorry, so I need only the first three characters. So I'm taking it as a substring. So you can see we are getting only the first three letters from the first name column. Okay, so this is about the substring. So if you want to know what is the position from the we had a name called Steven. So if you want to know what is the position of the V letter from the first name, so then you can check this. So this is used like whenever you want to check any specified um, like if you are checking a email column, so we'll have at the rate gmail.com and all. So if you want to know what is the specified positions in order to replace some of the special characters, or in that case you can use this in string case, using a case statement. So I want to know what is the position of the V letter from Steven name, so I'm providing it as V. Let's see what output I'll get for this. See, it is a 4 because we have V letter in the Steven name as at the fourth position, so we are getting 4. So all rest all are 000 because we don't have V in the first name of them. So there is another like at the sixth row it is 3. Let's confirm that. So David is having a V at the third position, so we are getting there a 3. Okay, so in string is clear. So let's now check the another one called another character function. We have a rpad and lpad. So let's check both of these. So rpad is used when you want to append some of the characters at the right side. So I'm going to append something at the right side of the first name. So you can take a first name or any other columns as well. So let me consider job ID instead of first name. So I want to add at the end of the job ID. So I just want to add something called, you can add any special characters or something. So I'm going to add ampersands. job id. So you want to append like if you want to make the job id, so there are different lengths of the job ids. So first record you can see it is only the 4, the length size is 4, and the next one is having 5. So we have a different length size for each of the job ids, but I want to make all of them having a length size of 15. So I'll take 15, and whatever the extra spaces like remaining spaces are there, I want to fill them with the ampersands. So I'll take it as ampersand here. From employees table. So you can see now the length has become 15, and whatever the remaining like after a president like a PRES, we had all the rest of the spaces are filled with the ampersands, making the total length of the character like a string as a 15. So you can, instead of in place of R pad, if you use L pad, then it will append all these ampersands at the left side of the string. So you'll get the precedent at the last, and the preceding positions are all filled with the ampersand symbols. So this is about L pad. So we have covered L pad, R pad, substring, length, almost all the character functions. Let me check. Okay, we have covered all this: concatenation, length, substring, lpad, rpad, trim, and replace. So replace is used whenever you want to replace any of the characters from the input string with a given character, then we use a replace function. So let's check one example. Okay, so I want to replace the job IDs, first name, job ID. So I want to replace the job IDs whichever are there, like a replace. So we had a job ID column called IT programmer. So I want to replace all of them. So it was IT underscore PROG. So I would like to replace all these IT programmers as engineers. So I'll put it as engineer, as a updated. This will be as a updated job ID. So you can see all the IT programmers job IDs are updated as or replaced, the values are replaced as engineers now. Okay, so we had already some of the engineer job IDs, but those will remain as it is, or rest of them will remain as it is except the IT programmer job ID. Okay, so this is about the replace function. Now let's move to date functions. So under date functions, we have a so under date functions we have different uh, functions called months, between, add months, next day, last day, round, and trunk and all. So months between is used so if you want to know what is the difference between two dates, like the count of months between the specify two different dates, then you can use a months between function. Then we have add months. So this is used when you want to add a particular number of months to the input date. Then you can use the add months function. Next day, so next day is used to calculate what is the next day of the specified date. Then we can use the next day function. Last day is to know what is the previous day of the specified day. Then we use the last day functions here. Okay, so let's see some of these as an example. Okay. So in our table we have a join date. So using this join date, we'll try to check some of our date functions. So if I want to know what is the months between some of the um, date, like difference between the dates, then let me take it. So select, I'll take it as a join date first. Join date, then I'll take months between. So I want to know when he was joined, what is the difference between that. Then I'll take months between uh, join date, comma, system date. From employee table. Okay, so this is giving us the numbers in negative sign. It says it's a 267.844 because of the dates. So we can say it is, if you round it off, then it will be 267 or 268 months. So let me take this after system date, comma, join date. Okay, now you can see it's at 267.84 months. It's the difference between when the employee joined and today's date. So it will be around 267.84 months. Okay, so now we had a add months function as well here. So select, let me copy this. So instead of months between, I'm taking add months. So if you want to add, so if I want to add some months to the current months, or like for example, if I want to add 5 months, then I can take add months. System date is gives the whatever the existing date in the system, and that is the db date. So it will add 5 to it. Okay, join date is not required here. So all the rows are coming as a 3/12/2026. It should be 25 because of the system date, it is coming as 26. Okay, since whatever system date is the whatever the date is set in your computer, so it takes that date, and according to that it will calculate and provide if you are running it using some db, then it will be the date from the db will be considered. Okay, so we have like a next day, one more date function as the next day. Since I'm loading it from the employee table, so that date will be considered here. So it is coming as 10/19 2025. Okay, so here one will be it will take one as a Sunday and two will be considered as a Monday. So if you provide one, so it will consider it as a next Sunday. Then if you provide it as a two, then it will consider as a next Monday. So in that way the calculations will be done. So here it is a next Monday, next Sunday, so it is giving us the date as a 19. Okay, and then we have a similar one more function called last day. Okay, it is giving us a last day don't accept any second argument. It's just a one date that we need to provide. So last date from the system dates, that is a 10/31. So it gives us the last day of the month, so which is a 31st in this month. Okay, I hope all these date functions are clear. Okay, so next we have a number function. So number functions, like we have a round, trunk and mode. So if you are getting any decimal points, so if you want to just round it off, then we use these number functions called round, trunk, and mod is used to return what the remainder from the division operator. So then we use a mod function. Okay, for let me take some example for round and trunk. So just I want to round any decimal number, round to 44.678 something from dual table, then so it should round it off. So we are getting the next whole number, which is 245. So similarly we have one more function called trunk. So it is also trimming the decimal point and just providing us the 244. So when we run the 244.67 for the round function, the result we got was a 245 because it was the next integer, the nearest next integer. But in case of trunk, it will go to the whatever the it will just remove the decimal points and we'll get whatever the number it is. So we got the result as a 244. So this is about the number functions. Okay, so today we have covered all the single row functions. Okay, thank you guys. So please do follow, subscribe our channel, and if you have any questions, put it us in the comment section. We can discuss about them in our next session. So we'll meet in the next session then. Thank you.